Alright, so let's go to this save. And we're going to be going with Matthew's route, which will be interesting. And then we will do, let's see, we already did Sam and James. Then there's Eric, Damien, the cinnamon roll, which we all call him. And now we're doing Matthew. And now we're going to when we first meet them. Lying on the floor was a group of men. They all were unconscious, but there was no explanation as to why they were there in the first place. I dropped my bags and I let the door close on its own behind me. Excuse me. Who the heck are you guys? Why are they here? What's going on? Some of them had open wounds. The blood was staining on the floor and the scent was intermingling with the air. I couldn't help but feel bad for them instinctively, but nevertheless I was shocked and a bit angry at the situation, at the blah blah sudden intrusion. My mind suddenly went from carrying a concern to confusion and demanding answers. Who are you guys? No response. I'll call the police. Still nothing. None of them seemed to be awake to seemed to be awake to answer or respond to me. It seemed surreal to have random strangers in the house I just moved into, but I wanted answers quickly. That was until Hi Sam. Eep, get away from me.
Woman, you're going to let me kiss you.
Oh god, Sam. I couldn't believe it myself, but within a mere blink of an eye, one of the men went blah blah blah. Went from lying on the floor to being right in front of my face. What was even more odd was the fact that I felt serene and calm about
Woman,
it. Oh shoot. Slowly a desire burned from my chest, telling me to accept his kiss even when my mind refused. Go ahead.
Good.
Sam. God. As he kissed me, I could feel my body go weak. I didn't know why, but that kiss was draining me of my energy, and yet it was so good and made my heart sing. It was strange and tingling feeling that danced over every nerve on my body. I could feel screams and intangible energy run up my body and to my lips. It felt odd, but at the same time it felt amazing.
Sam, stop it.
James?
Hmm?
The person kissing me, Sam was his name, glanced behind him.
I said stop. Now.
Fine.
Good God, Sam. Finally, he pulled back and I was left standing there in a daze. What? I couldn't tell what was going on. My mind was completely unwrapped by the kiss and my thoughts that melted into the depths of my forgotten memories.
Please forgive my brother. He's a bit reckless.
That's okay.
At least I feel a hell of a lot better than you right now.
Because you used your abilities on her.
Oh, God.
Sam, you're
Hi,
such
Eric.
a reckless brute. Taking advantage of a beautiful young woman like her.
God, Eric.
Shut that pretty boy mouth of yours before I rip it off your pretty boy face.
Why does that make me laugh every time I hear that line? Oh, God.
Sheesh, you guys. Can we not fight right now? Not all of us are in the best state.
Aww.
I guess you are right, Matthew.
I agree.
Right. Damien. However, as the man got up and stared to chat freely, my thoughts began to resemble, and I remembered my confusion and anger once again, only now multiplied tenfold. What?
Huh? Did you say something beautiful?
God, Eric, no! And I exploded. What was going on? Why the hell are you all here in my house? Why are you all wounded? Why did you kiss me? Who are you guys? I couldn't help exploding, but after being taken advantage of and being left in a mush state, my words escaped without filter. I definitely scared the men around me, even the man who kissed me. Wait a second, the guy who kissed me.
Ouch! What's your problem?
Excuse me. What's your problem? You can't just go around forcing people to kiss you like that. Are you some kind of pervert?
Pervert! It was only a kiss!
It might mean nothing to you, but it means a lot to me.
What? Was it your first kiss?
Ow!
Ow! Hey! What was that for?
The way his attitude is, he asks to get punched. I swear. I know first kisses aren't exactly amazing and full of sparkles and something out of a fairy tale, but I had at least expected it to mean more than just something forced.
So it was your first kiss. Stop making such a big deal out of it.
Good God. Sam? Are you asking to get punched again?
Well, what do you want me to do? It's not like I can somehow take it back.
No kidding. Apologize. You should at least apologize. That was selfish. I can't pronounce that word. Huh. As if to himself, he muttered something under his breath.
Why do I always look like the bad guy? Apologies aren't my forte.
Aww.
But I'll try my best.
Sam?
Okay, fine. I'm sorry.
Sorry about what?
I'm sorry for kissing you like that. I went too far.
He sighed and ran his fingers through his hair.
I didn't mean for it to turn out that way. It's just, I act on impulse, okay? It's difficult to control myself and... What am I saying?
Oh, sweet baby. It's okay, I get what you're trying to say. Thank you for the apology.
Yeah, no problem.
Anyway, if you try to pull any funny business in the future, just a fair warning, I know Taekwondo. Don't me. Sam. Oh god. I think I've bickered enough. Time to get back to the main issue. So what exactly are you all doing in my house?
Miss, please forgive us in our intrusion. We didn't know this abode belonged to anyone, nor did we have the time to take that into consideration.
What do you mean? You don't just barge into people's homes?
We wouldn't have had to if we weren't as wounded as we are currently. We just escaped from a deadly fight that could have ended our lives. Luckily for us, your home was near and the windows were unlocked, so we quickly came inside.
The last time I remembered, there were laws preventing strangers from stepping on private property, although considering the severity of their wounds, it had to be serious. I guess that explains the wounds, but not why he kissed me. He had absolutely no right to do that.
Well, lovely flustered lady, it's hard to explain, truly. We're not exactly normal.
No, not normal? What are you guys, demons or something? I asked almost jokingly, but the boys seemed to take my question differently.
Well, yeah, actually, something like that.
Eh?
We're incubi, miss. Demons who consume and use sexual energy of humans to survive.
Incubi, the fabled demons that existed to hunt humans and make them sex-crazed monsters. The mythical beings that could look like anyone just to get into your pants. The imaginary monsters you only saw in movies or on TV.
Hello? Did you hear him?
Yes, I did, Sam. Shut up.
We're telling the truth.
Do you think she's still processing it?
Yes, and she'll understand right about...
Right. It was funny while it lasted, but it's time to cut the joke short. Incubuses don't exist. There was no way they existed. That would practically be impossible.
Ahem. Incubi is the correct plural form. And yes, we do exist.
Prove it! As soon as the words left my mouth, I instantly regretted them.
Very
Oh
well.
god. Eric,
Eric,
no!
go ahead.
Oh god,
Very
Eric is
well.
going to kill me.
My sweet, you're so tempting with such non-belief. Let me ease your mind with a tender kiss. I promise you'll enjoy every minute of it, and maybe you'll even want more.
God damn it, Eric! What? He's... Once again, I felt lost in a pool of common serenity staring into Eric's eyes. I felt waves of heat course through my chest and onto my face, painting my cheeks red in their wake. I couldn't help but nod and agree to his offer. Yeah, okay.
Mmm.
Eric, stop! With another kiss, my heart began to flutter once again in my chest, and my mind was set spinning in a heat passion-filled pleasure. Yet I could feel my body drain of energy as he kissed me.
All right, that's enough.
Thank you, James.
Aw, very well. I feel so much better.
I bet you do. I bet you do, Eric. Oh god, I can't with him. I can't. As he pulled away, I was left in a mental mush pool. I felt weak in the knees despite my will demanding me to stand straight in front of the boys before me. The world around me began to spin as I turned to speak. I think I'm going to...
Ah, where are our manners? I'm James, and these are my brothers, Sam, Eric, Matthew, and Damien.
Miss, are you okay?
Shit. She fainted.
Yeah. Because they drained a lot of her energy. I couldn't believe it. Incubi, real? It all spun around in my head until I saw only black. Floating in darkness, my mind kept replaying the scene over and over again, reminding my body of the touch of the incubi's lips against mine. However, I began to feel the smooth silk around me, and my eyelids unwillingly opened. Where? I awoke to find myself in an unfamiliar place. Where's Mom and Dad? I was pretty sure this wasn't my room. Oh wait, I lived at my grandfather's house now. Of course it would be unfamiliar. I rolled my eyes and surveyed my surroundings. I was still in the clothes that I arrived in at the house, but I was laying in the silk-covered bed I remembered coming in the afternoon. So why was it nighttime already? Suppressing my yawn, I stretched my arms. Maybe I should order some food for delivery. I was feeling pretty hungry. I was about to sit up, but I suddenly realized that I wasn't alone. Damien! Hey! Huh? Since when was he standing there, and who the heck was he? A guy in my bedroom? There's no way. Sorry, I think I was just saying my thoughts out loud. Why was I apologizing to a stranger who only said 2 words since I woke up? Wait, he looked eerily familiar. Then it all came back to me. Incubus. He was an incubus. He and his brothers came here for refuge, and 2 of them kissed me, and then I fainted, and that was how things came to this. Oh. I love Damien. He's such a sweetie. I love him. He was leaning against the far wall looking at me. My heart began to race as I thought of the endless list of possibilities the situation brought me. I hated the thought of being under an incubus's power, especially in the bedroom. I took a deep breath. I was sure that if any of them wanted to take advantage of me, they would have already. True. Yeah, I'm awake now.
That's good.
I saw a small form of a smile on his face, which made me blush a bit. Why, though? One thing still concerned me, though.
I'm not going to use my powers on you.
Oh, here we go again with me burping on stream. I apologize. How?
I can read minds. It's an ability I was born with. Each of us has a different ability, outside of our usual mind-altering powers.
Great, even more surprised as I grew even more worried about the situation I was in. I see. How long have I been asleep?
For a few hours. It's already gotten quite dark outside.
Oh. Oh, well, where are the others?
My brothers are downstairs, cleaning up the blood from the lobby floor. And making you dinner as an apology.
Oh, sweet. Oh, okay, that was unexpectedly blah 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 blah. I can't speak. Unexpectedly sweet.
Oh, it's the least we can do after invading your home and two of us using our powers on you.
Oh shit. There we go. Sorry. You've got a point. Right, I had forgotten about that. It still irked me that they had oh god, practically taken advantage of me at that point. Even if they were demons, it was pretty rude to demonstrate their powers by kissing me. I wasn't some kind of human plaything. All of this seemed pretty unreal. It was like something out of those romance novels that Naomi sometimes read. I wish I could have just went back to sleep and forgotten about all this. Maybe I should have called the police on them, then I would have never landed myself in this situation.
Do you feel well enough to get out of bed?
Yeah, I think so.
Trust me, I won't let you go.
That art style, I can't. I'm not so sure about this.
I promise.
Oh, okay, I trust you.
Good.
I was speechless. He was carrying me as if I weighed nothing. He was so strong.
Thank you.
Uh, oh yeah, I forgot.
It's all right. I'm used to it.
Oh. I decided to close my mouth for the blah blah. I decided to close my mouth for the time being so that I wouldn't weird him out or make things more awkward than they already were. Well, he didn't seem to mind carrying me or listening to me talk, so at least things weren't too strange. Damien seemed very quiet and calm about everything, especially with the situation we were in. However, there was a sort of longing in his eyes when he looked at me that wasn't lustful, it was more in admiration. Once we reached the lobby, I decided I felt well enough to walk on my own. As strong as he was, it was like he was carrying nothing. I didn't want to make him carry me everywhere. Yeah, that would be... hang on a second. That would be mortifying. Thanks for carrying me, but I think I could walk by myself now. Excuse me. Not saying that I didn't like it. I mean, I liked it. Not in a weird way, of course. It's not like I get carried around all the time. What am I trying to say? Is that it was really nice of you to do that. I started to fumble over my words again, real smooth.
It's no problem. I'll be heading to the dining room then.
Alright, see you. He gently lowered me to the ground before he walked off quietly, disappearing into the shadows of the dark lobby.
Oh, hi!
Hi, Matthew. The guy we're going to romance with in this playthrough. Suddenly, a boy who looked around my age or possibly younger bounced up to me. He looked vaguely familiar. Oh, wait. Oh, you're Matthew, right?
Mm-hmm, that's me. Are you feeling any better now? We were all worried when you suddenly passed out.
I'm fine.
Really? Your face is kind of red. Do you feel sick?
No, I'm fine. I'm sure of it. I must have been blushing when Damien was carrying me downstairs. How embarrassing.
Well, if you say so. I hope Sam and Eric didn't make you upset.
It's okay, after all, I did hit Sam after what he did, and about Eric, I just wanted you guys to prove to me what you were saying. I suppose incubi are real then. I wondered how exactly I got myself into this mess. First my grandfather, then a fight with my father, blowing up at Lisa, and now this? I certainly had a knack for getting myself into sticky situations.
Oh, I have an idea.
He shoved his hand into his pocket with a cheery grin on his
Wait
face.
for it. Wait for it.
Is he trying to do a magic trick?
Ta-da!
Whoever the artist is for this game, they did an awesome job with all this artwork. Excuse me. What is that exactly? He smiled as if to wave it off, but when he opened his eyes and saw what he was holding, his face froze in shock.
Wait a second. What did I just make? This is...
What he produced from his pocket was a creepy looking doll.
What is that?
I'm not sure. Kinda creepy. His face paled considerably, and he dropped it on the floor, scooting away from it frantically.
Get it away from me! It might be possessed by a demon or something!
Aww. But isn't he a demon himself?
That's not what I wanted to make! I just wanted to surprise you with a stuffed animal or just something to cheer you up.
Aww.
That looks like it came straight out of a horror movie.
Oh, Matthew. He slumped his shoulders and looked down at his feet. Oh, it's okay. You don't have to look so dejected. I mean, it's certainly unique.
But it looks so
I
creepy.
think I'll keep it. It's the thought that counts, right? You wanted to cheer me up after all. I picked up the doll and looked at it closely. Sure, it looked pretty weird at first, but it could be cute if looked at it from a certain angle. I gave him a small smile. Thanks.
You're welcome. It's good to see you smiling, even though the thing I made still kind of creeps me out.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you, Matthew.
Anyway, you should come with me to the dining room. We're almost finished with the food, and, well, I don't mean to brag, but we're pretty decent chefs.
Sounds great. Lead the way. Something smells good. My stomach grumbled in agreement that I was starving.
Oh, the girl's awake.
The girl? Sam. Excuse you, I have a name, you know.
Should we really care?
Yes, you should. If you don't want to get punched.
Sam, I will roast that tongue for dinner if it doesn't stop flapping in that idiotic mouth of yours.
Whatever.
I apologize for his attitude.
No, it's fine.
Good. I hope you'll enjoy the meal we prepared for you.
Meal? For a second, my mind didn't understand what James meant. Maybe it was the doll getting into my head and distracting me? Oh, that's right. Damien and Matthew mentioned that they were making dinner as an apology. Oh, wait, you didn't have to?
We insist. Besides, it's quite impossible to undo our cooking, even if you command us to.
Fair. All right, well, thank you. Matthew put down the last of the plates on the table and bowed a bit exaggerately. Blah, blah, blah. I can't say that word right. Oh God, words. Exaggeratedly to me, gesturing to the table with a sweeping motion.
Ah, there we go. Dinner's all served.
The table was filled with various foods from the eclectic section of cuisines. One portion of the table was filled with the elegantly plated Asian foods, and another portion some yummy looking desserts. And there were yet more and more plates than I could have possibly imagined. Oh, whoa, that's a lot of food, and it all looks so good.
We hope you enjoy it, my sweet.
Eric. Oh, sweet me? Eric! Stop it!
That's enough, Eric.
You're no fun, James.
Eric, I love you, but oh my God, stop. For now. I'm doing Matthew's round, not yours.
I don't need to be fun, Eric. Miss, please follow me.
Oh, good grief, I can't. With Eric. I didn't know what came over me, whether it was his politeness or maybe his power, but I couldn't help but take his offered arm. James seemed very kind and intelligent, but aside from that, there was something that set him apart from his brothers. Not to mention, he didn't really seem to hold much appreciation for them.
Miss, I have to ask, why do you live alone?
Oh, well, it's kind of a long story.
I'm all ears if you wish to tell.
To put it briefly, I just moved here today.
That explains the luggage you brought in when you came through the front doors. By the way, we put your belongings in the room you were sleeping in. That seems to be the master bedroom, I believe.
Okay. Thanks, this house is really big. I don't think I've even explored the entirety of the estate when I was a child.
You lived here before?
No, truth be told, this is my grandfather's house. I used to visit him all the time when I was younger.
May I ask why you now live in your grandfather's house?
He actually passed away yesterday. It was bequeathed to me in his will, and I was sent to live here whether I liked it or not.
My condolences. It seems like you don't like the idea of living here.
It's not that I don't like this house or that I don't have fond memories of being here. It's just the implications that come with staying at this estate. It's kind of complicated to explain.
How do you feel about it?
I certainly wasn't expecting that question, but in a good way. It was different from what I had heard the entire day at school. I appreciated the fact that he was willing to listen. I feel angry, sad, scared, and confused. It's hard picking out the different emotions that I'm feeling right now. I wish I was stronger.
You don't have to be strong.
James, what do you mean?
I understand that you're going through a difficult time, so it's okay to feel those emotions. You don't have to be strong at all.
Aww. Thank you.
Are you all right? There seems to be a small bruise on your cheek.
He caught me off guard with the blah blah. He caught me off guard with that comment. I thought no one would have noticed something as small as that. I'm fine. He stopped and leaned in close, a bit too close for comfort, or maybe it was just me. Inspecting my face, he was really quite tall, having to bend over so much to just look at me straight in the face. It was hard to look at him, especially when he was so close. After a few seconds, he straightened up and began walking again.
Well, if you're having any problems, I'm always here to listen.
Aww. That's really kind of you to offer that.
My pleasure. Here's your seat.
Thank
Let
you.
me get your chair for you, lovely lady.
Eric. Eric was very charming and his smile pulled on my heart. The way he kept flirting with me definitely designated him as the charmer of the demons, yet there was a little distance in his eyes.
By the way, I apologize for my behavior earlier. Stealing your second kiss like that.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, when I didn't believe that they were incubi. It's fine, I guess. I mean, you didn't just get up and grab a kiss for no reason.
I'm not as forward, unlike Sam.
Eric, what are you doing? Suddenly, Eric leaned in and whispered in my ear.
I won't lie, though. I enjoyed kissing you and feeling you melt in my arms.
I swear I'm gonna lose it with him, I swear. I can't. I'm gonna lose it. I was torn between smacking him and trying to play it cool. You sure are quite the charmer.
Yes, I am known for that.
As much as I do appreciate the constant compliments, you don't have to keep talking to me like that.
Like what?
He batted his eyelids as if he had no idea what I was talking about, then I couldn't help but laugh. Well, like you're trying to get into my pants half the time.
I can assure you, I'm just a lover of beautiful women.
Something tells me that there's more to it than that. For a moment he looked away, losing a bit of his smile before I could question it, though. He turned back to me with a new teasing smile.
Did you want there to be more?
Eric, stop. Stop it, Eric. I didn't want to hit him, but I didn't know how to react, so I couldn't look at him. He merely chuckled again in my ear.
Sorry. You just look so cute when you're blushing.
I felt my face heat up simply from his words. I then felt Eric take my hand and kiss it gently.
I hope you'll enjoy dinner, however, my dear.
I drew my attention back to the dishes. I was both intrigued and slightly scared by the amount of food they made. Excuse me. Seeing my expression, Eric leaned forward and proudly smiled, gesturing to all of the dishes with a dramatic sweep of his arm. Oh God. How dramatic can you be?
I made almost all of the dishes myself.
Hi, Matthew. Humorously enough, Matthew looked at him with a shocked expression as if he was betrayed. His face changed instantly to that of a frown. Aww.
And I'm the Queen of the Nile.
What's that supposed to mean?
Me, you, and James did the work together, dummy.
It's you, James, and I, Matthew.
Aww.
Little boys will always make mistakes.
Aw, give him a break. Give poor Matthew a break. Matthew looked at James in disbelief, probably for siding with Eric, and he annoyingly swiveled back to Eric to confront him.
I'm not a little boy. I'm barely a year younger than you.
Well, you certainly don't act like it.
Aww. I really couldn't help but laugh. Matthew seemed very much like a kid. He was adorable. He is adorable. However, I couldn't help but feel like, in a way, he was much more mature than the others, especially Eric.
Huh? Is something funny?
No, it's nothing at all. Thank you for the meal, all of you.
Oh. You're welcome, miss.
Such a well-mannered young lady. Beautiful inside and out.
Eric.
Eric, knock it off.
Thank you, Matthew. In agreement with Matthew, Sam cocked up his head and glared at Eric.
Seriously, you're getting really annoying with that suck-up act.
Okay. It was obvious that Sam was the bad boy of the group. He had this big tough act, and it was obvious he was physically stronger than the rest of the guys. But there was more to him than that, and there is.
I'm just trying to be a gentleman. The young girl has already gone through so much. She deserves a good treatment.
There's a difference between being a gentleman and being an obnoxious flirt.
Schooled even by James. You're gonna need some cold water for that burn.
Oh.
By the way, I don't believe we caught your name even though you know each of us.
I'm Laura.
It's a pleasure to finally know your name.
Yeah, that's a nice name.
They were all comfortable around me despite the awkward situation we were in. It was as if it were natural for them to be around humans. I guess that was just how incubi worked. But I was still curious about one thing. Excuse me. All at once, they looked at me. I didn't know why, but having all of them look at me made me feel kind of important, like a queen or something.
What is it, miss?
I wanted to thank you all for the food, but I still wanted to know why you all came here. I feel like I don't quite understand. Understand, yeah, like being told that a bunch of incubi randomly appearing in your house was perfectly understandable.
Oh, how do we explain?
We were attacked. We came here to heal. What's so difficult to understand?
You don't have to be rude, Sam. Like, I love you, but you don't have to be rude.
Now you're just being rude, Sam.
I'm just saying, how is that difficult to understand?
No, I mean, what specifically happened to you guys?
Well, you see, we've been traveling around for quite some time now. Just recently we came into town, but we were jumped by this band of misfits. So, in order to escape and heal, we came here for shelter. Again, we apologize for the mess we made.
It's fine, I guess. So, are you all better now, right? You're all better now, right?
Yup, all thanks to you.
Me?
You see, beautiful, we feed on sexual energy. But we don't just get it from kissing lovely ladies such as yourself. We can simply touch someone's hand to obtain sexual energy. Everyone carries sexual energy, you know.
Oh god. I was still in shock about their powers. It wasn't just kisses that gave them power, it was anything physical. No wonder I was out for a while. These incubi intrigued me, but at the same time, I could almost hear a warning siren going off in my head.
Is there anything else you wish to know?
Well, what do you all plan to do now?
Yeah, what are we gonna do now, James?
That is a very good question. We just got here, and surely we'll be hunted again if we leave.
Yeah.
We can take him easily.
Not without more training, Sam. The result of that was clearly evident in our last encounter with them.
At that moment, I didn't know what came over me, but I suddenly felt sorry for them. They couldn't possibly survive out there if they didn't know it was illegal to break into people's homes. They probably didn't know a bunch of other stuff. They probably would cause chaos all over town. Or on the flip side, they could be taken in for questioning and be poked and put it like lab frogs for research. That was even worse. But most of all, they reminded me of back then. And like before, I'm actually going to skip this part. Skip that.
What was...
I wanted to skip that little part, what you remembered. Clenching my hands into fists, I strengthened my resolve to speak up. Well, you could...
What was that, lovely lady?
That is,
Spit it out already.
Shut up, Sam. You could stay with me here if you'd like. As soon as I finished my sentence, the room became still. I'm not sure what went through their heads from my words. The silence in the air cut like a knife until I finally spoke up once more. It seemed like you all needed a place to stay, and well, I just moved into this giant house, so it seemed like it made sense. It was still quiet in the room. I decided to keep talking. If you would like to stay here, though, there are two things that I need all of you to follow.
Yes?
First of all, you can't use your powers or deliberately do something that might harm me or any guests that come over. Well, save for enemies, but you get the drift.
That sounds reasonable.
Second, you have to help me with the errands around the house. This place is kind of big, so yeah.
That is a generous offer, miss. Are you sure that would be okay? We don't wish to burden you any more than we already have.
You're not a burden. It's alright, really. I mean, I just started living here myself, so I would appreciate some help around the house.
A wonderful idea. We'll live here and train while helping you with the house. Servants for the lovely princess.
Look at Sam's face. His face. I love how his face changed. That's funny.
What? Are you serious?
Oh, God. I love him.
Shh, be quiet, Sam. I haven't slept in a bed for days.
They all seemed to like the idea, except for Sam, and hey, I didn't really hate the idea either, even if they were incubi. It would be interesting having 5 guys help me with taking care of the house, given they would follow the rules that I had just laid down.
Fine, but we're not staying here forever. Only until we can beat up that group of punks.
Okay, Sam.
I think that is a reasonable time limit for our stay.
Yes, this is awesome.
Also beautiful. If you need
Eric.
a bedfellow.
No. Eric, no.
Eric, knock it off.
Eric, stop it, please. I was happy that they agreed. Maybe it was because I wasn't going to be lonely for a while. Maybe it was because they all needed help and want to help people was fulfilled. I would never be sure.
So what are we waiting for? Let's celebrate and dig in.
Finally, I'm starving.
Instantly, Matthew and Sam began to stuff themselves with the food on the table. I noticed James's eye twitching in irritation, so I stifled my incoming laugh.
Really, you two? You're both acting like pigs.
Oh, let them have a little freedom, James.
I
It's not
agree.
like we've eaten recently either. I'm sure they've been starving.
Still, that's no excuse for stuffing their faces like backyard swine.
I almost couldn't hold it in. I couldn't hold in my laughter anymore as I laughed. Matthew and Sam looked my way, faces stuffed.
Is something funny? What are you laughing at?
I stopped to catch my breath and leaned over the table and took a few breaths before replying. You both are so funny. Both of their faces turned a slight pink before they looked away from me and they swallowed the food in their mouths.
Shut up! We're not funny. We're hungry.
Okay. Okay, Sam.
Well, we're glad that we made you laugh.
Shut up, Matthew!
What? I'm just saying.
Oh, God.
See, James, it's entertainment for her.
They were funny to me. At least they enjoyed the food. As I watched, I took a couple pieces of food up for myself and placed them on my plate before eating as well. Eventually, we all ate dinner together. It was strange eating with just guys, but they were enjoying to be around. They made me feel like a part of their family. As we ate together, however, our peace was soon disrupted. Huh? It's my mom. Excuse me.
Hey, honey.
And we have to hold a house party for the parents, and I'm skipping that. Great, now how am I going to do this?
Is something wrong?
She has to organize a house party for her parents.
Well, I had to, oh, right, mind reading. My God. For the voice actor of Damien, Jonas Scott, oh my God, I love his laugh. So adorable. But yeah, I gotta do it soon, or my parents will be really disappointed. I'll have to stay up and organize everything tonight.
Hey, why don't we help you? That's what we're here for, right?
Thanks, Matthew.
I don't see why not.
I can name a few reasons why we shouldn't.
Sam, don't.
Sam?
Back off!
We'll take care of everything, miss. Just leave everything to us.
That was surprising. I didn't think the boys would offer help right off the bat. I couldn't help but smile. I was actually rather thankful now that I let them stay. Now I didn't have to do everything alone. As I kept thinking about it, I couldn't help but yawn.
Feeling a little tired over there, princess?
Hey, yeah. It's been a long day. At least tomorrow's the weekend so I can sleep in. Then it hit me. Wait, where are you all gonna
We
sleep?
found some guest rooms on the opposite end of the house from the master bedroom. I'm sure those will do just fine.
Oh, got it. Alright, then I'm heading to my room to study and sleep. I guess I'll see you all tomorrow.
Have a good night.
I will. You too. With that, I left the dining room and went to my room.
Eric, no.
Eric, what are you planning?
What? I wasn't going to do anything.
Yes, he was.
Shh!
You shush, Eric. Alright, I'm gonna skip this.
You fucking pretty boys think you're all that, huh? Well, save that
Alex.
to the end of my pistol.
What's going on? I couldn't move my body. I felt like I was tied up and I couldn't see anything beyond the darkness that surrounded me, yet I could hear the sounds of a heated argument coming at me from all directions.
One move and she gets it.
Let her go!
Matthew?
Come on, chicken shit. Fight us like a real man.
Like you scare me, Sam. Come on. Take one step. I dare ya.
Why can't I see?
Stay away from her, Malix!
And what are you gonna do, nerd boy?
Suddenly I found myself pulled to one side and arms wrapped around my body protectively.
I've got you. Don't worry.
Huh, Eric? As I was held in a tight embrace, I felt the world around me once again settle into a low, peaceful hum. The hostility of the dream before had faded into black as the arms around me rocked me comfortably. Comfortably. I don't know if I'm pronouncing words right. Oh gosh. Slowly though, my eyes fluttered open and I looked up at the person holding me. Damien? I stared into the eyes of Damien. His face was painted with worry and concern. I knew he must have seen my dream. Why did I dream of Eric holding me though?
You can't control your dreams.
Oh, I guess you're right, yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. What time is it?
It's 9 a.m. James and I were making breakfast when well...
You can't control your mind reading?
No, not yet at least. I hope to learn eventually, though.
Aww, sweet baby.
Is everything alright?
Yeah, I'm alright.
That's good. I'm assuming you had a nightmare.
Yes, I'm sorry for disturbing you both.
You didn't disturb us, miss. Besides, we'd rather make sure you're okay before anything.
Thank you.
Now, why don't you come downstairs with us and have some breakfast? I'm sure some nice food will take your mind off of what you dreamt of.
It was embarrassing to be a damsel in distress once again, but I felt rather happy that James and Damien were concerned for me despite only knowing me for a short time. I wasn't sure if it was just courtesy or if they were genuinely concerned. I couldn't exactly read their minds. Alright. To the The two boys led me back to the dining room where the smell of bacon and eggs danced in the air. The smell wafted from the kitchen and made its way into the room, making my stomach growl and lead. Breakfast smells good.
We should be done with breakfast soon. If you want to sit down at the table, you can.
Alright. I nodded before sitting down, and as I sat down, however, my mind drifted back to the dream I had. That feeling of hostility around me made my body shudder instinctively, even though I knew it wasn't real. However, as my eyes closed, I felt a hand placed on top of my head, breaking me out of my thoughts. Hi, Sam. Huh?
Morning. You alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. Sam, the owner of the hand on my hand, raised an eyebrow at me before rustling my hair and moving away to sit down at the table. He then barked at the kitchen where James was working. Oh God, Sam, calm yourself.
Hey! Is the food done yet? I'm starving!
Sam, you don't need to yell.
There's no need to yell, Sam!
You're yelling too!
Don't argue with me!
I love Sam, but oh my God. From behind me, Eric appeared and sat beside me, rubbing his temples in obvious annoyance.
Can we not yell this early in the morning? It's not like we're in the castle.
Castle? For some reason, when I heard the word castle, I couldn't help but yell in surprise. These guys had a castle? Sam looked at me and smirked at my reaction.
Yeah, we have a castle back home. Our dining room's 10 times bigger than this room.
And wouldn't it be logical to not yell?
Whatever.
Soon James and Damien appeared, hands full of plates that carried bacon, eggs, toast, and waffles. They placed the 2 plates down by each seat before seating themselves.
My favorite.
Finally.
Thank you for the breakfast. It looks amazing.
It's our pleasure.
Oh, by the way, this song is like the theme for the game, if you guys don't know. All of a sudden, my phone began to ring, ushering me to pull it from my pocket and answer. Hello?
Hey, good morning! Guess who's at your door right now?
Right on cue, there was a knock from the lobby door. My heart stopped. Susan and Naomi were here?
I'll get it.
My heart quickly began to pound in my chest. Matthew was in the lobby, and he'd get to the door first. I instantly jumped out of my chair and rushed out of the dining room. As I passed through the archway between the dining room and the lobby, I saw Matthew reach his hand for the brass door handle, causing the roll to go in slow motion. Matthew, don't! Before my words could reach his ears, Matthew had opened the door and revealed the surprised faces on Naomi and Suzu. Awkward. No one gonna say anything? The world around me stopped as Susan and Naomi kept their eyes on Matthew, who merely stared back in fear and embarrassment. I could feel the air go Yeah, it's a cool song. I could feel the air go from warm to freezing in the matter of seconds.
Hi?
Awkward. I cannot believe this was happening. How was I going to explain this? This week was already bad enough. To make matters worse, I was frozen in place. Please, for God's sake, someone do something other than stand there.
Who are you?
Suzu, let me explain.
What's going on here?
Who's at the door, Matthew? Oh.
Soon the other incubi appeared in the lobby with us. The situation was not getting pretty. I had to think fast. They're visitors?
Then why did one of them open the door?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It was no use. There was no time to lie to them. I felt helpless. Then I felt a hand on my shoulder and felt the tension in my body almost fade away. I turned my head to see James smile at me before stepping in front of me.
We must apologize, ladies. We know the situation must be confusing for everyone. Let's take this to the dining room and we'll explain everything.
I stared at James wide-eyed. Was he going to tell them who they were? Everything seemed surreal. Before I knew it, I was led to the dining room along with Susie and Naomi and sat across from their confused gazes. As Naomi and Susie sat down, Eric and Matthew placed their untouched plates of food in front of them, surprising their guests.
Whoa, this looks amazing!
Thank you.
Our pleasure, ladies. We hope you enjoy your meals.
Make sure you dig in!
Aw, they're so sweet. I looked at Naomi and Suzu as they began to eat, visibly enjoying every bite they placed in their mouths. Hopefully the food would ease their minds of whatever James was going to reveal. As Naomi and Suzu ate their impromptu meals, James and the other boy stood behind my chair, making me grow more red in the face.
So, Anderson, are you gonna tell us what's going on?
Well, you see, Gently, James placed a hand on my shoulder again, signaling me to just eat my food. As I began to eat, he spoke to Naomi and Suzu.
We are Miss Anderson's house servants. We were hired by her late grandfather to help around the mansion, but since he has passed, we now assist Miss Anderson with living on her own.
That makes sense. It's such a huge house.
Yeah.
A huge house for a wonderful princess such as Miss
Eric.
Anderson deserves the greatest of servants to care for.
Aw.
But why are you all dressed so casually and stuff? Aren't servants supposed to have uniforms or whatever?
Well, Miss Anderson allows us to get comfy while we work, so she lets us wear casual clothes.
Yeah, something like that.
We're sorry if we made the situation awkward earlier.
We're very sure that Miss Anderson is also still getting used to having us as her servants. It would be very hard to explain after just a day.
I guess.
So, if I may ask, what brings you two ladies here?
Well, we wanted to see how our friend was doing. Since it's the weekend and all, usually we hang out and just chill.
Yeah, like going to the arcade and stuff.
Aw,
Or
yeah.
the Pink Lady Cafe.
There's an arcade?
That makes a lot
Matthew's
of
adorable.
sense, ladies. Well, we don't wish to disturb you any further than we have, so we'll take our leave and start preparing the house.
Huh? Preparing for what?
A housewarming party for her parents.
We gotta prep the house for some sort of housewarming party thing.
Our princess's parents requested a housewarming party to be held here soon.
And by soon, they mean tonight.
Oh, well, I guess we can help out or something. Right, Naomi?
Are you sure? Are you sure, girls?
I thought you wanted to go to the arcade.
This housewarming thing is more important.
No need. We can handle it. If you'd like to, miss, you can go out with your friends while we handle things here.
Seriously?
Sam, not now.
Sam, not now.
Well, I wanted to help out, but at the same time, I wanted to go out with my friends. James gave me a look of understanding, letting me know that if I left, everything would be okay. I had to make a decision.
Are you
I'm
sure?
gonna help around the house. I'm sure. Besides, it is my housewarming party. I should help out too.
Want us to help out as well?
I think we got it all taken care of. Thanks, though, girls.
All right. We'll head on out then, so we're not in the way.
Sorry, girls. I'll hang out with you guys soon.
It's all good, Anderson. We'll definitely come to the housewarming party tonight.
Thank you. I led them back into the lobby and walked them to the doors, opening it for them. With a thankful smile, they both gave me hugs before walking out to Naomi's car, which was parked in the driveway. Alright, before we continue, I will be right back. Alright, I am back. Let's continue. And with that, they left. I was happy that they wanted to help, but I had to do this on my own. It was not their work, so I didn't want to force it on them just because they were my best friends. We had the entire day to work. The party was tonight, and we had to do all we can do to make everything right. We sat down and talked about what needed to happen before the party started that night. Each incubi had been assigned a different part of the party to do, and right after lunch we began to work. Since everything was taken care of by at least one incubus, James told me I could assist one of them. The question was, who? Let's help Matthew. Hey, Matthew. I walked into the kitchen and instantly looked over at Matthew, who was quickly slicing up strawberries and placing them into a nearby bowl. I walked over and looked over his shoulder to watch. Matthew didn't seem to mind, and I decided to ask him a question. Sorry, I can't get over how good the art style is. What are you making?
I'm going to make a large batch of strawberry cupcakes. These strawberries are going to be the top pieces.
Oh, okay. Ooh, that sounds delicious. Can I help?
Yeah, I kind of hoped you would. Can you start by making the batter for the cupcakes?
Sure
I put
thing.
the ingredients and some directions on the counter over there.
I nodded before heading over to another counter where a string of ingredients and a small note card of directions sat at the ready. I smiled and began to work, mixing the ingredients and pouring the batter into cupcake tins to bake. I had to admit that I made a little bit of mess, but I felt like the cupcakes were still fine. There we go. Now just need to wait. As I turned to face Matthew, I noticed Matthew's red face. Aww. I tilted my head before he walked over and moved his hand a bit towards my face. He stopped, however, looking to me for permission. Nod to him. Matthew continued to move his hand towards me, gently brushing a finger over my cheek. My senses tripled tripled feeling his finger. Wipe over a small stain of powder and cream that had landed on my face.
You, got a stain.
He's so adorable. I love him. Matthew's finger was ginger and timid, wiping the stain off with as little contact as possible. Lightning shot through my body as each wipe running down my spine in jolts. I closed my eyes unconsciously, leaning into his touch and naturally wanting more. However, Matthew pulled his hand away, causing me to open my eyes and look at him. Matthew was biting his lower lip and had pulled his hand to his chest.
Sorry. I got it all?
Aww. Oh, thank you. Matthew quickly shook his head and grinned his goofy grin at me before continuing to make another appetizer for the party. I blinked a couple of times, wondering if what I saw was real. Alright, so we are going to skip the party.
I'm so sorry.
Do you have...
What do you think will happen?
What do you think of the philanthropy?
Do you think the Honey,
I'm gonna skip all this.
I'm sorry.
Things look good.
But we will look at when Malix comes over. Phew, that was tiring.
It's not like you had to do any work, though.
Give her a break, man.
Yeah.
She was getting interrogated left and right.
She handled herself the best she could.
Thanks, Damien.
As expected, princess.
Aw.
Since you're exhausted, why not head to bed? We can clean up.
Ugh.
Sam, zip it.
Hush, Sam.
Thanks, Eric. Are you guys sure?
Positive. It shouldn't take long.
Ho ho ho! It didn't take long to find you little shits after all.
Whoever does the voice of Malix is really good. Just saying. I felt a hot the blah blah blah. I felt a hot shudder run down my spine. The voice from my dream echoed through the air into my ears. I looked around, panicked. Alongside the incubi, James placed a hand on my shoulder, trying to remain calm.
Don't worry. No one will hurt you.
Are you sure? Are you really sure?
Oh boy. All of us shot our heads towards the doors, finally pinning down the direction of the voice. The doors quickly swung open, revealing a sight I would have never expected to see. Hi, Malix. Skin red as blood, eyes black and gold piercing into mine, roughened up clothes, and a pistol in his hand. I saw a monster. Hi, whatever your name is. I can never get what her name is. I covered my mouth to not scream at the sight. Dried blood covered the bandana around his neck as he smirked at me and the boys around me. Beside the red-skinned man was similar looking woman in matching thug-like clothes.
Oh, what's the matter, boys? You really didn't think I wouldn't find you, did you?
I hoped you would, you piece of...
All of a sudden, the man raised his gun at Sam's face and instantly pulled the trigger. When we all gasped in shock, instinctively expecting to see a bullet through Sam's face, but it didn't go through.
What the fuck?
Because the house is protected by magic. Thanks to her grandfather. What should have been a headshot ended with a loud but empty blank shot. The pistol echoed its empty shots as the man grew more and more pissed, pulling the trigger over and over in aggravation. Luckily for my ears, it became quieter after its first shot.
Why the fuck won't you work?
This place is protected.
That's right.
What did you say, Shrimp?
This
Don't call
place
him
has
that.
a seal, protecting it from hellborn magic.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Ah!
The man growled and threw his gun at Sam, who was able to dodge it in time. The pistol bounced off the ground a couple of times before sliding further away, hitting the wall in a final stop. As it stopped moving, the gun faded into a black flame that disappeared into the air.
The previous owner had this place protected by magic, Malix.
Malix, that was his name. His his existence resonated in my memory from the dream I had. However, I looked at Matthew in the same confusion as Malix did. This place is protected by magic?
It would seem that your grandfather had some sort of protective barrier around this house.
Whoops.
It would seem that your grandfather had some sort of
sorry.
protective barrier around this house. From the looks of it, it only disables hellborn magic.
Malix's face grew to the extreme anger, his fist tightening as if he was crushing a stress ball.
Then what's stopping me from dragging your asses out and shooting you then?
Out of pure instinct, I stepped forward and placed myself between Malix and the boys. With no power, Malix wasn't going to fight. I took that chance to stand up to him instead of being powerless like I was in the dream. F off. Yeah, fuck off. Malix suddenly laughed wildly, staring at me in disbelief.
Whoa! Who let the bitch out of her cage? What is...
I keep accidentally moving the mouse wheel
Who
to
let the bitch out of her cage? What is this? A reverse harem or something?
I'm gonna cut off your laugh though. Malix grinned at me evilly, walking close to me. Oops. Duck. I ducked underneath Malix's incoming hand. I stared at his hand and his black flame tattoo, and surprised as I took a couple of steps back from Malix. Matthew and Damien stepped in front of me, guarding me from Malix with their arms.
A quick one. I'm liking you more and more.
Back off, Malix!
Don't start acting tough, you pathetic excuse of a demon. You need more.
Shut up!
Oops.
Don't start acting tough, you pathetic
Okay, I need to
excuse
take my
of
hand
a
off
demon.
that mouse wheel.
You need more protection than her.
Malix, screw you.
Shut up!
Oh, did I make the little Matthew cry? Why don't you just grow a pair?
Excuse me. Leave Matthew alone, Malix.
Enough, Malix.
Thank you, whatever your name is. The woman who had been standing in silence the whole time planted a firm hand on Malix's shoulder. Malix looked back at her with a growl at their glare that could kill.
Since when did you get the guts to speak out of place?
We both know you've never controlled me. I want them dead just like you do. But now's not the time.
Fuck off! I know what I'm doing.
Do you? Even if you did fight them, there's 5 against 2. We never win.
Wow.
Shut up!
Let's go, Malix! We're wasting our time!
The two growled at each other. If they could have used their magic, I could sense that fire would glow from under their teeth. Oh, I can't speak. Malix grunted and glared at the boys. He pointed at James, wanting so badly to use his fingers like a knife.
Just wait, pretty boys. We'll get you and fuck you up real good.
Then Malix turned to me, moving his fingers to point directly between my eyes.
Don't think you're safe. Step outside. I dare you.
With that, Malix and the women walked out of the mansion. The boys, the blah blah blah. The doors closed behind them, leaving the boys and I alone once again. I felt my knees give out from under me, forcing the boys to quickly turn to catch me.
Whoa! Are you alright?
Yeah, why was he here?
He's been closely tracking us. Our blood trail from the forest must have led him here.
We should have stopped him and finished it here.
For once, Matthew, I agree with you.
I stood up and rubbed my arms, feeling the goosebumps Malix left behind on me. I couldn't stop myself from shivering in fear of his words. Malix, was he a demon?
That son of a bitch is not a demon. He's a devil.
A devil? There's a difference?
Yes, demons come from a different plane of existence called the abyssal planes. Devils, however, come from one of the 7 circles of a place humans know as hell. Despite us not being human, we are very different creatures.
We actually have brains, for one. Devils always like to cause trouble and try to kill or torture others for their own enjoyment. Demons, like us, know when to use our powers and when not to. We're not stupid.
I didn't say you were.
Devils follow orders from higher-ups in their order, and their power only comes from their connection to hell. Demons all have free wills and don't rely on where they came from to use their powers.
This was all so confusing. Demons and devils and magic all existed, and I happened to land in the middle of it. What do we do?
You're safe. You've been protected as well.
What?
What Damien's saying is that the magic that protects this place also protects you.
Your grandfather must have cast it when you last saw him or something of that nature. We can sense its aura around your body.
I couldn't believe my ears. It was the third day of surprises, and this one took the cake in being the most surprising. I felt my head spin once again. What did I get myself into?
Miss, please don't worry. We'll find a way to train ourselves and become stronger to finally finish this feud.
Alright.
I'm gonna kick his ass right now.
Until then, we'll protect you as much as we can. If Malix comes back, we'll be here for you.
Alright. But what about going outside? Won't he...
Like we said, you have a protection spell on you. Even if Malix attacks you, he won't be able to use his magic on you. He'd be just like any other human you can fight back against.
Didn't you say you knew Taekwondo?
Well, yeah. I felt somewhat relieved that I was mostly safe from Malik. Still, I could not help but feel very nervous and apprehensive about the future. The boys were safe here to train and become stronger, but what if Malik did the same? Even more so, I was lost about how my grandfather knew about magic. I had to find out. At least I had time. Alright, let's skip this.
I promise to be with you forever. You're so important to me.
I like hearing all of these.
I swear I'll give my life to you.
Please, let me love you.
I'll be by your side, always.
I can't imagine living without you.
I want to be with you.
I love you.
Aww. Alright, let's skip. But explore the house. We explore. Try. Let's skip until we find one of the incubi. Don't disturb them. Alright. I quickly rushed back and grabbed the second food dish before hunting down one of the boys. I looked down each hall trying to find one of the incubi, wondering so that I wouldn't have to go through each individual room finding them. I pursed my lips in irritation. Where the heck are they? I sighed, knowing that I would have to search for them in each room. I quickly turned and headed back to the dining room one last time. When I arrived, I gasped. Hi Matthew. Matthew was crouched near the kitchen doorway, peering into it as if a rat had gotten loose in the pantry and he was the stalking exterminator. Matthew?
Shh.
What's wrong? I quickly shut my mouth and pressed my lips together in silence, confused but fearful as to why I had to be quiet. I tiptoed to Matthew, who was crouching by the entrance in the kitchen. His gaze and head moved across the side of the kitchen, still trying to find whatever he was looking for.
He's in there.
Who? What? Matthew's face was seriously fearful and intense. Who was freaking him out this much? My mind, however, instantly pinned that person down to my conclusion. Malix? Why did he come back and why was he in my kitchen? As I started to freak out, remembering the fear I had the first time we had met. However, I wasn't sure where the others if it was Malix.
I lost sight of him, but I quickly found him and cornered him in there. I know he's in there.
Who's in there?
That fluffy killer thing.
The doll that you made? Fluffy killer thing. I bit my lip, suppressing a laugh. Once I swallowed my laughter down, I let out a sigh. You mean your cute bunny doll?
Yeah, that thing. Wait, it's not cute!
Matthew instantly regretted not whispering and covered his mouth. I could not help but giggle. What's he doing in the kitchen? Matthew turned to me with an expression of utmost seriousness. Something told me that what he said would be cute and funny, but I decided to bite my tongue gently to not laugh no matter what.
I don't know.
I failed to keep hold of myself and started to giggle again. The thought of the doll doing anything but sitting there made me giggle. Matthew tried to hush me, waving his hand frantically to me to keep quiet. Matthew, Simon's a doll. It can't do anything.
You named him?
Of course, Simon Tabby. Cute, isn't it? Cute. Matthew let out some sort of defeated whine before turning back to the kitchen. Trying to find Simon from where he was. I placed our food on the table and looked as well. So, what's your plan of attack?
Well, I plan to make my way through the kitchen as quietly as I can, and hopefully not get stabbed.
Sounds simple. Matthew nodded in agreement before finally moving from his spot and tiptoeing to the kitchen. Cute. I stood there unsure of whether or not I should follow suit. I didn't know why I was up for this, but I followed along. The small adventurous side of me was very happy with the decision, but another side of me was questioning me, asking me why I did that. Matthew slowly walks through the kitchen, scanning the cupboards and surfaces with a meticulous glare. With a glare, it was both. Oh, come on, mouse, don't. It was both amusing and slightly frightening to see how serious he can be. Do all of your toys get out of control like this?
No, it's just this one. I don't know why. All my other toys are okay.
Other toys? Matthew.
That's what I do. Make toys. I made them.
Matthew nodded, stopping his search to look at me.
That's what I do. Make toys. I made them for my mother all the time back in the
Aww.
Abyssal Plains to help her cope with her position.
Her position?
She's the fourth wife of my birth father. Each of us have a different mother, and all of them, except for Damien's, are queens. My mom, though, hates sharing, so I distracted her with toys.
I didn't know what to say. A demon with multiple wives seems natural, but I guess because I was human, I felt a twinge of disgust run through my veins nonetheless. Still, it was adorable how Matthew tried to cheer his mom up with his abilities. Aw, that's sweet. I was then suddenly reminded of my grandfather and how he made toys all the time for kids. Matthew's power to make small toys instantly would have been so useful to my grandfather. I shook my head and began to search for Simon. Let's keep looking for Simon. Matthew nodded before joining, and I felt like I was in a comedy mystery looking for a child's toy instead of a murder weapon.
Come on out, creepy thing.
Alright, hang on. Sorry, I was checking something. Its name is Simon. Matthew ignored my statement and began to slowly open the cupboards, shifting through the inside contents. I decided to follow suit, starting at the opposite end of the kitchen. Matthew, what do we do if we find him?
We stick him back in my pocket. And
what? I looked at Matthew, waiting for him to finish replying. However, he kept his eyes to the ground, trying to answer my question and remaining in thought. I continued to search the cupboards, unsure now of if it was blah 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 blah. I can't speak. If this plan was going to go anywhere, why was I doing this? Simon Tabby was a What? What the? Matthew and I scanned the kitchen frantically, searching for the source of the laugh.
I knew that thing was evil!
Oh, Matthew. Suddenly everything went black. Who turned out the lights? I gripped to the nearby counter, not wanting to hit anything or fall in the darkness. There was no window, so the room was almost completely pitch black. I could hear skittering across the floor like a rat rushing to escape with its cheese in his mouth. I instantly jumped in fear before suddenly being pushed to the ground.
Watch out!
I felt myself hit the ground with a body over top of me. Okay then. 2 hands were slammed beside my head onto the tile floor, stopping the person above me from crushing on me.
Hey, are you okay?
Matthew, yeah, I am. I stared up at Matthew, letting the situation sink in. We were looking for a doll, and now we're on the ground. What broke my thoughts was a flash of gold running across Matthew's eyes. I could feel heat radiate from his body, but the air was tense and his body was almost shaky. Matthew, are you okay?
I
I heard him gulp, answering my question. He wasn't okay, I can tell, but he wasn't moving. Matthew?
Sorry.
Soon a golden glow covered Matthew's eyes. I expected to feel warmth in my body from an upcoming spell, but I felt nothing. Something was wrong.
I need you to push me off.
He needs energy. From the sound of his voice, he was desperate to get up and off of me. Why couldn't he move though? Then it hit me. Matthew, do you need energy?
I do. But
Matthew shut his eyes to try and hide his golden gaze from me. He didn't want to take my energy. Why? Was he ashamed to? If he needed energy, I was willing to give it. I gently grabbed Matthew's face and tilted his head to angle with mine. Leaning in closer to him, I brought my face and lips up to his and kissed him deeply. I didn't know if this would help, but it was how he got energy before. I shut my eyes, waiting for the draining feeling to reappear in my body. Matthew didn't move, nor did I feel energy drain from me. I opened my eyes and saw Matthew staring wide-eyed at me, but unmoving. He was unsure of what to do, and I had silenced him in confusion. I pulled away and spoke. I want to give you some of my energy. You used a lot of it, and I'm sure the energy you took from me was only used for healing. Let me help you.
I don't.
Matthew, if you don't want my energy, just tell me. I'm offering it to you if you do. All of a sudden, I felt that familiar feeling of warmth run through my body. Once again, I felt my body slightly heat up as Matthew wrapped an arm around my body and pulled my body tighter to his. Matthew grew a lustful gaze before bringing a hand up to cup the back of my neck. Oops. I love that for a screenshot. I love that. I love that artwork. Before I knew it, Matthew pulled me into a gentle but passionate kiss. He erupted through my body as his kiss slowly and almost timidly got deeper. Matthew kept an arm around my waist while I rested my hand on his chest. The energy from my body was slowly draining in the kiss, making me feel light and warm. It was almost pitiful how comfortable and how willing I was in this situation. Still, I held no regrets. I was enjoying every bit of this kiss. Matthew was full of surprises. As childish as he was, he definitely was proving to be a man while he was kissing me. Matthew wasn't forceful, but his kiss was deep and passionate, and it felt almost magical. It was how I imagined the first kiss was to be like, except with the energy drain. Soon, though, the energy drain stopped, and Matthew gently pulled his face away to end the kiss. I stared up at him as we both panted for air. I had never kissed like that before, and I was so lost in the moment that I had forgotten how to breathe. Matthew moved a strand of hair from my face to behind my ear, eyes still full of desire. Matthew stared slightly at me, unsure of what to say. However, I can tell that he was full, yet yearning. I could feel the hold of his mind-altering spell fade away, but I still felt hot. Something told me that I wanted more, but at the same time I wasn't sure if I truly did want to give any more. Keep going. I opened the opportunity and I was enjoying it as much as he was. I wanted more and I was going to let him keep going. I wanted to keep going. I leaned up and kissed him again. Matthew gasped again against my lips, but continued to kiss back. I could feel him pull on the tail of my bow, releasing it and following his hand off from around my neck. He moved the ribbon to his pocket before gently unbuttoning the top two buttons of my blouse. The desire in my body drove me insane, forcing a moan to escape my lips, as he ran kisses from my lips down to my exposed neck. As he began to ravish my neck and shoulder in hot kisses, I leaned my head back and let a pleasureful sigh escape my lips. Matthew was ruthless in his passionate kisses on my skin. Matthew didn't stop touching and kissing me, making more moans and gasps rush out of my mouth into open air. He may have been full, but he was as hot as I was. I couldn't even comprehend how much time we spent making out. I was lost in the pleasure that I didn't care. Call it simple, but I didn't care. I loved it. His touch, his kiss, his heat. I desired it beyond anything at that moment, even as he lowered his kisses down my chest to just above my bra. My heart was beating wildly in my chest. Something about Matthew intrigued me immensely, but something made my heart quicken for him. It couldn't have been love, but it was too passionate to be lust. What was it? However, I began to feel dizzy, seeing the ceiling start to spin almost wildly. I gripped to Matthew's shoulder, trying to signal him to stop, but my mind faded to black before I could let out another sound. I felt good. I didn't care that I was blacked out. I felt warm and fuzzy in the darkness. I never knew indulging in that kind of passion would be that good. I now just waited to awaken, hopefully in a good way. My eyes eventually fluttered open, adjusting to the sight around me. I felt familiar silks underneath me, letting me know that I was in my bed. I slowly sat up, stretching from the tiredness that still lingered. I felt a very soft pain on my neck and shoulders, and I could feel my swollen lips pulse gently and healing. However, when I looked down at my body, I saw that my shirt had been pulled back up and rebuttoned as if nothing happened between me and Matthew. I was just missing my ribbon. Before I turned to get out of bed, though, I spotted my ribbon on the pillow beside the one I slept on. It was tied around Simon Tabby in a nice bow with a small note attached to it. I gently slipped the note from the tie and opened it to read it.
I'm really, really, really sorry.
Aww.
I didn't mean for it to go that far. Please forgive me.
Aww. Alright, hang on a second. I stared at the note, letting a small smile grace my lips. He went too far. I enjoyed it a lot. It was cute, though, to imagine him thanking me for something we both did and enjoyed. I brought the note to my chest, letting the memories of our meeting flood in my mind. I indulged myself too, Matthew. I looked to the time out of curiosity. The large white numbers on my phone showed 5:31 p.m. Yikes, 4 hours of being knocked out and I still feel tired? It was Sunday, so I was allowed to sleep longer if I wanted to. The remainder of the night passed by, surprisingly uneventful. The boys continued to train with with each other, but were kind enough to stop and make me dinner. I was glad for that. Unsurprisingly, the food was perfect, but it felt a little empty without the boys to eat with me. They most likely had already eaten, but still I felt lonely. I couldn't let it bother me. I ate and went back to the room to study and sleep. Surprisingly, I felt good going to bed that night. I felt like I could have a peaceful sleep after the previous rough nights I had. I felt good. I drifted asleep and woke up almost flawlessly the next morning. No grunginess, no aches, perfectly energized and bright-eyed. Man, how long has it been since I got that much sleep? I looked at my alarm clock. I woke up 10 minutes before my alarm. Well, hey, I must be lucky today. Alright, let's
Yo, Anderson!
And Susan and Naomi are gonna pick me up. Who made this? And Matthew made this breakfast. Huh? And we're going to learn Matthew's real name, his demon name.
My name?
Your name?
My true name isn't Matthew. I want you to know my real name. If something were to happen.
His true name? What did he mean? Why was he telling me this now? I remembered reading about a demon's name. I did not mean to cut that off. I remembered reading about a demon's name from the journal I read yesterday. If you knew a demon's true name, you can summon them to you no matter where you were or where they were. Matthew gently pulled me to him and leaned close to whisper in my ear.
My name is Zekeru.
Zekeru. Okay. As he said his name, I could feel it lock into my memory. Something in my head would make sure I would never forget it. Matthew pulled away and smiled at me despite still carrying worry in his eyes.
If you are in any danger, call my name. I promise that I'll come and help you.
Aww. I stared up at Matthew, unable to say anything. I could only nod in response. Matthew smiled before releasing my hand and heading into the dining room. Something told me that name would be used eventually. Right on cue, Naomi drove to the gates with Suzu waving me down. I rushed out the door and headed to school, talking about the homework and the coming day. Alright, we're going to skip this. Alright, here we are. Let's call out for Matthew. Zekeru. All of a sudden, a bright purple light engulfed the room, causing the devils around me to A bright purple light engulfed the room, causing the devils around me to cover themselves.
What the?
Gusts of wind rushed past me, almost forcing me back. I covered my face with my arms, bracing myself and standing my ground. I tried to peek through my arms to see what was going on, but the light continued to shine brightly. As the gust slowly started to die, the light began to fade, revealing Matthew with his hands shoved in his pockets and his hood up. Matthew? Malik slowly moved his arms from his face, taking in the sight of Matthew before laughing hysterically.
Are you kidding me? You summoned the crybaby runt?
Okay. Malik's laugh was cut short, however, stopped by his gasp of pain and the thud of something embedding, I don't know if I pronounced that right, itself into flesh. I couldn't believe it, but somehow a knife had been stabbed into Malik's shoulder, causing him to grip at it in pain.
What the hell? A knife?
Next time, I won't miss your throat.
Damn, Matthew! And oh my god, that art style. Yeah, whoever the artist is for this game, they did an awesome job. That looks so cool. Malik snarled before ripping the knife out of his shoulder and tossing it in the ground. He quickly raised his gun and shot at Matthew, resulting only to stare wide-eyed at his target. In mid-air, a knife at Malik's bullet clashed and both collided to the ground between the demon and the devil. Matthew chuckled and pulled a hand out of his pockets, revealed a handful of knives blade out like a fan.
Too slow, Malix. Must suck being an old fart.
Malix instantly grew furious, charging at Matthew while shooting rounds at Matthew's shadow-covered face. Matthew followed suit, rushing backwards and shot his knives at each of Malix's shots. Each shot was stopped by a flying knife, making multiple clangs through the air. The remaining devils stared, trying to figure out what to do. Help Malix or watching Silas. Eris, which I'm gonna take a wild guess that Eris is that girl that was with Malix at that party. At the end of that party. However, walked up beside me and crossed her arms as she watched with an amused smirk on her face. As Matthew backed into the far wall, he stood still, tossing knives upon knife at the incoming devil and his bullets.
Gotcha, you knife-throwing circus freak!
Don't call him that. I saw a smirk on Matthew's face before he hopped up and flipped over Malix. The devil skidded to stop, barely bumping against the brick wall. Matthew, however, didn't give Malix a chance to turn before shooting multiple knives into Malix's back.
Bye-bye, Malix.
Matthew tossed a knife into the air and caught it before chucking it at the back of Malix's head. The knife sadly didn't get to meet its target as Malix ducked out of the way and turned to face Matthew with a face of pure rage.
You little shit! You think you're all that?
Matthew brought out another knife and tossed it up and down in his hands and changed in his cool yet almost playful expression.
Little known fact, I just like having fun.
That's a load of bull, Matthew. You won't even fight me in your demon form. Why? Are you afraid I'll kill you as the demon scum you really are?
Demon form? I didn't understand. However, Matthew broke my thoughts from trying to figure that out.
Hey, mind closing your eyes for me?
Huh?
What are you babbling about now?
Oh, shut up, Malix. Before I could answer, the tension suddenly went from warm to almost ice cold. Then, at that moment, something in the air changed. The air instantly went from frantic to still in energy. What could have been described in tone as the color blah 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 blah. The color red quickly turned into a deadly mix of purple and blue as everything began to blend together all at once.
You asked for it, Malix. Now you're gonna get it.
My eyes never strayed from Matthew's face. However, even as it changed, my eyes began to glow a bright glow. His eyes began to glow a bright golden color as a dark blue circle formed underneath Matthew's bare feet. I stared as Matthew's skin began to morph and shift, changing from human to something else. For some reason, I was both scared and incredibly intrigued to see his new form. Before I was allowed to see Matthew's new form, however, a pair of hands quickly covered my eyes. Instinctively, I reached up to grip them, trying to pull them off. A voice stopped me.
It's me. Don't look.
Damien! I listened carefully and let the last two words linger in my mind. Don't look. Why? What was being hidden from me? I wanted to know, but something told me to obey Damien's command. I suddenly heard gunshots making me tense up, but then I heard the sound of multiple stabs followed by Malix's screams of pain. The stabbing and splash, splashing sounds of blood and flesh grew more frantic and in number. How many knives was Matthew using? Maybe it was better that I wasn't able to see.
Matthew, enough!
Almost instantly after James's command, the sound stopped. The only thing anyone can hear was the dripping of blood.
I guess I went a little overboard, huh?
Malix is definitely dead, but you've lost your glamour spell.
Glamour spell? What did he mean? Why did Matthew sound so different? Why was this being hidden from me?
It's a spell that makes us look human.
I froze. Look human. They didn't have human forms after all. What did they look like?
Like demons.
As if Eric knew what Damien was talking about, Eric cleared his throat and spoke up, followed by the sound of a cork popping of a bottle.
Well, not for much longer, Princess. Here, Matthew.
Oh, hey, you found my potion. Thanks.
I could hear the small clinking of glass being passed before hearing Matthew guzzle down a liquid of some sort. The feel of the air around me gently began to warm back up, insinuating that everything had been returned to normal. Finally, Damien moved his hands from my eyes, allowing me to see around me once again. The devils, including Eris, had fled. On top of Malix's body was dirty sheet that was quickly turning red from blood. The wall behind was painted red and blood still dripping onto the floor and onto the blanket. The blanket looked like it was covering a mound of dirt instead of a body. The boys, however, had gathered around me, all of them, including Matthew, looking like nothing had happened. What just... I tried to speak, but everything zipped around in my head at the whole event, and I felt like speaking wasn't possible.
Let's just get you home, miss. There's nothing more to see here.
Okay. I could only nod. What had happened? What had happened boggled my mind to the point of disbelief. I was second guessing everything, lost in a lost in a sea of what and how and when. As we walked out of the warehouse, I looked to Matthew for some sort of sign that I wasn't dreaming. Matthew rubbed the back of his neck, walking forward as if to get away from what had happened. Oh, Matthew. It was over. Malix was gone and the boys were finally safe. A wave of relief ran through my body at the thought of never having to deal with that group again. At the same time, a pang of realization hit the back of my mind. The boys were only going to stay until after Malix was defeated. That was our deal. As we approached home, I can feel something heavy weigh down my heart. Get me. It was late, but the boys led me inside and turned on the lights in the lobby.
Finally, we can relax.
It will be good to have some rest without devils breathing down our necks.
I'm just tired. Can I hit the hay early?
I think some sleep would be good for all of us.
I looked at Damien, knowing he could read my mind, and frowned. I didn't want him to know about my thoughts on the situation. Yeah, bed sounds good. I wanted to just end tonight. Too much had happened, and I felt dizzy just trying to figure it out. However, Damien spoke up, stopping all of us from moving.
Should we be gone in the morning?
The air became still with tension. The realization of the situation hit the boys like a wave, forcing them to turn to me in curiosity. They had remembered their deal and were now awaiting me to decide their fate. I gulped face to face with the reality of the situation. The boys were leaving it up to me. They looked like they were willing to accept whatever I had demanded. It was only fair, though, after all that had happened. Hey, Matthew. I looked at Matthew, feeling my heart flutter in my chest. I didn't want him to leave, but would he ask to stay? I hoped that he would say no and ask me to stay longer. As if he knew what I wanted, Matthew moved and stepped closer to me. Taking my hands in his, he gently smiled at me and spoke up.
I want you to know that you've been really generous to us, and I want to thank you for letting us stay here. But is it okay if we stay a little longer?
Oh, he's so precious. I love him. My heart skipped while a large red blush ran across my cheek. The boys stared at Matthew wide-eyed but didn't dare to speak out. Matthew stepped back to give me space, returning to where he was. I moved my gaze across each boy, trying to make a decision. If they left in the morning, I would never see them again, and my life could return to normal if I did decide to let them go. That would have been for the best. No goodbyes, no delays. But did I want to? They had done so much for me in such a small amount of time. I want them to stay. I want him to stay. I merely smiled, staring at the man I'd come to have feelings for before speaking at last. I would love it if you all could stay. The boys cheered tiredly, but nonetheless enthusiastically. I giggled at the sight. It was cute to see everyone so excited despite the tiredness that ran equally through our bodies. Today was a rough day. My home is your blah 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 blah. I can't speak English. Good grief. Oh, good grief, I can't. My home is your home as long as you can still help with chores. The boys nodded in unison, agreeing to the terms I had set for them. Despite the situation, I felt myself slowly slipping into unconsciousness. However, James quickly clapped his hands together, getting everyone's attention and waking me up, making sure I didn't pass out on the floor.
All right, everyone. We're all very tired, so let's head to bed, shall we?
Oh! Yeah, sleep is actually a thing. Right.
We've had a very long day, but it will be good to just relax tonight and tomorrow.
Sleep
Yeah.
sounds really good right now.
Yeah, man.
I watched a happy smile grow onto Matthew's lips. He shared my excitement knowing that we would be together longer. Who knew how long we would stay together? All I cared about was that I would be with him. The others quickly left to finally rest, leaving me and Matthew alone at last. My heart fluttered a bit as Matthew practically skipped closer to me in excitement. It was really cute to see him that way, so I didn't do anything but smile at him.
Thank you so much for letting us stay.
Oh, no problem. You're welcome, Matthew. I'm happy to have you stay here. I watched his smile brighten a bit before he cleared his throat and chuckled a bit. I didn't know if it was the tiredness or my growing attachment to him, but I felt myself sway a bit on my feet. However, Matthew's face made it clear that he wanted to say something else, making me forget that my bed was also calling for me.
Listen, about what happened at the warehouse.
Oh, Matthew. No, it's fine. You did what you had to do. I understand. I had accepted I had accepted everything that had happened and knew that Matthew had to do what he had to do. He was real and he was someone I didn't want to be without, even if that meant nodding against my curiosity. Besides, I was too tired to explore that memory further. Matthew nodded before holding out a hand to me.
Come on then. Let's get you to bed.
Aww. I nodded before Matthew gently lifted me up to his arms like a bride and carried me to my room. I didn't want to leave his arms, leaning my head against Matthew's chest, but eventually I was slowly lowered to my bed and covered with my bed covers. I was still in my school clothes, but I was too tired to strip or care. I looked to Matthew, fighting a yawn from escaping me as he gently ran a hand over my hair.
Have a good night. okay? I'll make breakfast again in the morning.
Aww. I nodded with a tired smile before watching him slowly stand and leave my room, closing the door. A wave of happiness rushed over me as I laid in bed. I made a I made a good choice. Sure, it would be hard, but I could tell that I would be able to manage it. Help around the house and being with the man who I was slowly starting to fall for would be worth it. I slowly felt my exhaustion take over. I let sleep consume me as I drifted into the darkness in my mind. Everything was peaceful. I was happy.
You are an interesting creature.
And here's Diana.
You have a...
Alright, let's get to the boys.
Good morning, miss. Did you sleep well?
And let them know that Diana was here. Before I could lie, hiding the incident in the back of my mind, Damien furrowed his eyebrows and stopped eating.
She's here.
The boys looked to Damien in confusion while I cursed his ability silently in my mouth.
Damien, what's up with you? Of course she's here. She kinda owns the house.
Hang on. Damien looked to me, wanting me to explain for him. However, the threats that Diana gave me last night warned me to keep my mouth shut. Damien pressed his lips together into a fine line. The other boys looked at me with a raised eyebrow. A girl named Diana came here last night.
Diana? Is she important?
Did she try to hurt you?
Well, she's a succubus. That single word made the boys stop and stare at me. I looked at each boy, unsure what was going through their minds. Should I have avoided it?
So, she's come to try and bring us back.
She must really be desperate.
Well, what should we do now?
Nothing. She'll give up eventually.
Are you sure, Sam?
Will she?
The boys continued to look at me as if I knew the answer to the question. Damn it, Damien! She said that if I told you she'd make my life a living hell. She can't possibly do that, right? She's not a devil.
No, she isn't. However, she is a very powerful demon.
She's a master of mind manipulation and has been trained in illusion. Unlike other demons who use strength to get power, she uses her charisma.
She has the power to make armies bow to her and obey her every whim. That's why she's so obsessed with us.
Okay. What do you mean?
Well, she sorta has family ties to us. She was promised to marry one of us in exchange for more power.
She's just some whacked up hussy who doesn't know how to close her legs. She's not a real threat.
Oh, really? I feel insulted.
Diana. Oh, shoot. I'm actually really excited to play Seduce Me too, because I've been hearing that we get to hear more about Diana and her backstory, including one of the extra episodes that we get to see, which I'll be playing after I do all of these jeez, I can't speak. I can't think. After I play this game, we will be hearing. There's one of the episodes where, I can't even talk. We'll be getting more of her backstory. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to know more about her. The boys and I looked around the room, wondering where the voice came from. I felt cold sweat run down the back of my neck.
Oh, really?
I need to keep my hand off the mouse wheel, damn it. Remembering what kind of power she had. At last we saw Diana by the entrance of the kitchen, juggling a red apple in her hand as she leaned against the archway. The boys quickly surrounded me, glaring at the intruder.
So, you took up a human name as well.
Beautiful name, isn't it? Well, for a human name, anyway.
What the hell do you want?
To bring you back, of course. However, you weren't supposed to know that I was coming. I completely forgot about that little mind-reading ability. My mistake.
Diana pushed off from the archway and walked towards us, making the boys step closer to me in a protective circle. Diana laughed.
My. What has the world come to? A group of demons protecting a human girl? I'll tell you right now, she's not that pretty. And from what I can tell, she's still a virgin.
My face grew red in complete anger and embarrassment. How dare she? Diana chuckled and smirked at me, knowing that I wanted to hit her, but I had to control myself.
Such control you have, human. You know your place very well.
I didn't control the crowd that escaped my throat, however.
Well, will you all change your minds? I assure you, it's for the greater good.
I expected the boys to say no. What I heard was complete silence. None of the boys replied to Diana, which made me both nervous and fearful as to why. Diana leaned her head back a bit, surprised for a different reason.
No. Well, I see.
Was silence truly them saying no to her? I looked around at the boys and saw the disobedience in their eyes, giving me my answer. I felt my heart flutter, especially when my eyes landed on Matthew. He kept close to me, glaring daggers into Diana. I could feel that he was completely adamant in his choice to stay. I didn't know what, but I was incredibly happy to know he wanted to stay. Diana sighed and pressed a finger onto her temple, rubbing it gently.
Either all of you are playing a very convincing hard-to-get game, or you all must be out of your minds.
Diana then looked Why can't I speak English tonight? Good grief. Diana then looked at me, locking her gaze within mine as if to read me. I could tell she wanted to do something, but the boys would stop her, so the stare was her only available action. After a small moment of silence, Diana licked her lips before breaking a gaze battle and smiling to the boys around me.
Very well. I guess I'll take my leave now.
What? Her leave? Was she serious? The boys around me straightened up and grew confused looks on their faces as Diana stepped back and away from us with a small bow, flaunting. Okay. Oh, shoot. Without another word, Without another word, a deep purple pentagram appeared under her feet, and Diana's body slowly sank into the floor. As her head vanished into the floor, the pentagram vanished. At once the boys relaxed and slowly began to return to their spots at the table, each in deep thought.
She'll be back, but she won't kill us. She needs us alive.
Whatever. We'll just keep saying no. She can't force us to come back.
She can't do anything but annoy us. Eventually she'll give up.
That's the hope, anyway.
Hopefully. Matthew walked over to me and held my hand gently, looking at me with a smile.
Everything will be okay. Promise.
Aww. I nodded, feeling that he was telling the truth, or at least a hopeful and comforting thought, and smiled back. Matthew gently leaned close to me and kissed my cheek, however, making me blush and forget what I was thinking about. The sound of collectful chuckles and playful snickers whispered through the air, making me blush even more, but the laughter stopped as Sam let out a oof after a fluffy object collided with his face. I looked up to see Matthew was glaring at his brothers holding up a fluffy anime plushie. Oh god, dude. He and I pulled away from each other just as the sound of Naomi's car appeared. I quickly ate my food and waved to the boys and left confident that nothing was going to happen. For now. And then Diana comes to the school. Which I will skip.
Thanks. What's you? What? Oh, well. Well. In. You. You really.
Let's skip this.
Miss, what are you doing here?
Aren't you supposed to be in school?
I furrowed my eyebrows and stared at Damien, asking him to answer their questions through my thoughts.
Diana sent her back here. She invaded her school and sent all the students back home.
What is that bitch up to? Seriously! Diana's playing around for no reason.
Maybe it's part of her plan.
The boys continued to argue back and forth about Diana, feeling an almost jealous curiosity in me. Damien seemed to be too deep within the talking to notice my thoughts, for he didn't even stop talking alongside his brothers. Why was Diana after them? Why did she want to bring them back? What was so important about the boys? That she would travel to the human world to get them? What was going on? I decided enough was enough. I needed answers. Hey! Their faces. The boys stopped arguing, staring at me in surprise. I held my hands and fists on my lap, mustering the courage to continue to speak despite my abrupt shout. Why is Diana here? Why does she want to bring you all back? What exactly did all of you run from? Why did you run from it?
Miss,
Don't miss me, please. I need to know what is going on. I won't be left in the dark about this. I want to know what I'm facing, please. The boys looked at each other blah blah blah. The boys looked at each other hesitantly, unsure of what to reply. Finally, Sam pushed Damien toward the bed, making him buckle and land on his knees with his torso over the edge of the mattress.
Damien, do the thing.
Thing? What thing?
Sam, you're not suggesting.
Why not? She deserves to know everything, especially if Diana is targeting her.
Sam's right.
It's only fair.
I guess we have no choice then.
I was getting confused. What was Damien about to do? Damien stood before climbing onto the bed with me sitting across from me on his knees.
We are going to show you everything. You have to trust me, okay? The minute you stop trusting me, the vision will stop.
Okay. Vision?
It'll be okay. Just trust him.
Alright. I looked at Matthew, unsure of what was going on, but I nodded. If this was the only way to learn, then this was my chance to know. Damien gently placed his hands on each side of my head, gently pressing his thumbs onto my skin above my eyebrow. I could only stare at Damien as his eyes began to glow. Gold and energy began to be both pulled out of me and forced into my head. Within seconds, my vision went black once again. I was unsure of what Damien was doing, but soon shapes and textures slowly began to appear around me. I found myself sitting on a stone floor in the middle of what looked like a fantasy throne room. Where am I? Alright, so if you want to see what happened with the boys here, you can go look at the video that's going to be up on my YouTube later tonight, which is on Sam's route, so I'm going to skip this.
Oh, you're awake. How do you feel?
And now we're going to learn more about Matthew. Better now that you're here. Matthew nodded before he looked down at the bed, taking my hands into his.
I'm really sorry. I'm really, really sorry.
Matthew, it's not your fault.
No, please listen. I know that Diana and Malix have come after you because of us, so it's our fault that you're constantly in danger. If I hadn't convinced everyone to come to the human world, we would have never been attacked by Malix and hunted down and brought you in danger and...
Aww. I quickly rushed over and put my finger on his lips, stopping him from going any further. I didn't want to hear anymore. Matthew, it's okay. I wanted to help you out. I offered to let you all stay. Nothing is your fault. I gently moved my hand and cupped Matthew's cheek, staring at him with concern. I didn't want him to hold guilt in his mind about this whole ordeal. Diana was desperate that she'd hunt anyone for them. It wasn't his fault. She was desperate enough to hunt them down. However, I grew curious. So, Matthew, you're noble? Matthew looked at me and gave me a goofy smile. His smile was so adorable.
I was once, but even if I had the title, I didn't really feel like a noble.
Oh? How come?
Well, I was the fourth noble son of the Demon Lord. With Eric and Sam ahead of me in case James couldn't fulfill his duties, there was no way I was getting the throne. So I spent the majority of my time trying to make my mother happy. She was always unhappy.
Aww. Unhappy? How come?
Well, my dad was he married 4 different women.
Ah.
Each of us came from a different mother, and my mother was the last to be married and bear a son. The thing with succubi, though, is that they get jealous very easily.
So what happened?
The other wives got mad and scorned each other. It wasn't violent, but we never ate together for a reason.
Ah.
My mom, though, was too proud to have jealousy. She was the last woman the Demon Lord married, so she felt important. She felt that because he stopped marrying, she had the charm to stop his marrying spree.
Matthew let out a small laugh, a hint of depression lingering in the breath he let out.
But then the Demon Lord took another woman and she bore him a son outside of wedlock. Damien. The wives, including my mother, were furious. In response, the Demon Lord had a spell cast on them, turning them into spiritual orbs.
Spiritual orbs? That's horrible. Matthew nodded, pressing his lips together in both agreement and sadness.
They could never have physical form, and they lost all their powers. They became slaves trapped in the Demon Lord's castle. However, they were kept alive to make sure their sons grew up to be competent demons.
I'm sorry. Matthew gently shrugged, letting a small nostalgic smile grace his lips.
She taught me how to be a demon, though. Not just a demon, a grown adult demon. I read books, I learned strategy, everything that James was doing under the Demon Lord's watch. Only, I trained with just my mother. She wanted me to surprise the Demon Lord one last time, and maybe take the throne away from James.
Aww. Matthew then reached into his pocket and took out a small mirror.
Here, I'll show you.
Matthew handed it to me and sent a wave of blue mist into it. It began to glow until it enveloped the room in a bright light. Excuse me. When the light had subsided, it was back in the main hall of the demon castle. I looked around, feeling unable to move, but I could practically see everything as clear as I had before. However, my focus gathered on Matthew, sitting on the throne as if it was his and reading a book. For some reason, Matthew reminded me of James at that moment. He seemed engrossed in his reading each word and absorbing each meaning. Him on the throne surprisingly fit him. There was something about him.
This is an easy read.
A saddened cry, however, echoed through the hall, forcing Matthew to stop closing the book and standing from the throne.
Mother?
I looked around, confused at the cry and where it was coming from. It seemed to just echo through the room without any source of direction. Matthew sighed and placed the book on the armrest of the throne before he cupped his hands together.
Fly and comfort her, will you?
As Matthew opened his hands, a small bird with blue and purple I can't read. Purple feathers perked up from the hiding place. Matthew smelled before releasing it into the air. I watched as it flew off and glided through an open archway. The sound of its flapping wings faded into the air as it flew further into the castle.
Come on.
I could tell that Matthew was holding his breath. He must have cared very deeply for his mother. It was incredibly sweet. At last the sound of crying stopped, making Matthew release a happy sigh.
There we go.
Matthew cracked his knuckles in approval and reached for his book. However, before he could graze the cover with his fingers, the sound of pattering entering the room.
You, fourth son, away from the throne!
All right.
What am I going to do with you? You're a child.
Wow. Matthew glared at the servant as the servant quickly brushed the throne off like there was dust all over it. How rude.
The next time I see you on the throne, I will inform the Demon Lord. Understand?
Wow.
Yes.
The demon servant continued to brush over the throne before knocking the book from the armrest. Matthew froze as the servant quickly patted over and picked it up.
What is this? A book? Why do you have it?
I was reading.
You read? You don't need to read. You're never going to need knowledge for anything, fourth son.
Wow, what a dick. I saw Matthew's eyes twitch, making me grimace. The servant sure had a mouth. It was annoying at the very least.
I'll just take this book and bring it to the heir himself to read. He's reading faster than the library can provide.
But that's...
Raestro's next area of study.
The servant began to walk away, ignoring Matthew's glare of anger. The servant stopped, however, to look to Matthew to pound one more nail into the wound.
Let's face it, kid. You have the smallest horns, the smallest frame, and the least amount of power among the noble sons. You'll never be like them, so just stop trying. Use your incubus powers on others who have a child fetish or something.
That's just rude. They're being so mean to him. The demon looked at Matthew up and down before rushing over where he came from, wherever he came from. As the servant disappeared, Matthew summoned a knife and chucked it in the direction where the servant left. The knife embedded itself into the hard stone beside the door into the hall.
I hate that guy. Disgusting pig fawn.
Matthew walked over and sat on the foot of the throne, clearly aggravated. Aww. Eventually, Matthew stopped the magic, lowering the mirror and holding in his hands before looking at me.
I had hoped to show you my mother, but I guess the mirror wanted to show you something else. Sorry.
It's okay. That servant is terrible.
Tell me about it. He served the Demon Lord almost his whole life. Ugly pig fawn.
Matthew laughed while I laughed at the insult. It was good to see Matthew in good spirits despite what was shown and what was happening around us. Still, I was sad to see that he was considered a child of the noble sons. He could read books of knowledge that his brother hadn't read, and he seemed caring. It was insulting to see someone tear him down like that. Matthew smiled at me before pocketing the mirror.
Whatever. Thankfully, we got out of there, so I could be with my brothers like a normal family. No hierarchies, no politics, no pig funds, nothing.
Aww. I smiled. It was good that he saw the positive side. However, his face slowly turned to a sad one before he looked down at the bed. Matthew.
You've done a lot for me and my brothers. Sheltering us, letting us continue to live here. It may not seem like much, but for us it's everything.
Aww.
But I don't want you to get hurt because of us.
I watched in speechless silence as Matthew lifted his head, his eyes full of almost hopelessness.
That's why I'm sorry.
Matthew, you don't have to say sorry. Matthew lowered his head in shame. I couldn't help but feel my heart squeeze within my chest at the sight. He truly cared. Matthew let out a small sigh before looking at me with a new smile. He hid his sadness well, but I could tell he was still upset about the whole ordeal.
All right. You need to sleep and I need to make dinner. I'll wake you up when dinner is done.
All right. Matthew gently pressed me back down onto the bed, resolved in what had happened. I couldn't let him leave without doing something. I got hiccups and burps. I'm sorry. I quickly pulled Matthew down to me, lifted my head, and gently kissed him, softly laying a hand on his cheek. To keep his face close, Matthew stared in deep surprise before hesitantly kissing me back, caressing my cheek and slightly melting at the touch of our lips. A soft sigh escaped his lips before he slowly pulled away with a smile. He gently licked his lips, making me go red in the face. At the simple gesture, he let out a satisfied sigh before nuzzling my forehead.
Go to sleep.
Aw, he's such a sweetheart. I love him. And with that, he stood up and left the room, leaving me to rest as pure his request. I smiled to myself before relaxing into the mattress. God damn it, Diana, what the hell? I suddenly tensed up. I felt majority uneasy. Something wasn't right. I felt it to my core. She must be here. The thought of her in the house infuriated me beyond belief. I had to make sure she was not here. She is. I rolled out of bed and quickly left the room, wandering the halls, and I accidentally hit enter before I could finish that. I rolled out of bed and quickly left the room, wandering the halls and listening closely. She was a demon, but I was listening very intently. There was no way she would have been able to sneak up on me. I know you're here. Where are you? I could feel myself growl. It wasn't a matter of fear that she'd take away the boys anymore. Her very existence had lit a fire of rage within my gut, which only grew as each day went by. This feud was getting on my nerves, and I knew it would not end well for one of us. I wasn't going to lose to that demon bitch.
Leave me alone.
Matthew? My heart stopped. Diana was with Matthew. My mind flew into slow motion, playing fake images of Diana trying to seduce Matthew in my head to further fan the anger flame inside of me. I instinctively followed Matthew's voice that was approaching the grand lobby and followed the commotion to the dining room. The sound was echoing from the kitchen, so I peeked inside while hiding around the corner. I almost growled at the sight. Matthew was holding to one side of the kitchen island counter with Diana holding the other side, looking to him with a smirk.
Oh, come on, Matthew. Don't you like games? A game of tag sounds so fun.
Diana? I swear.
Not with you. Now go away!
I felt hair in my mouth. Ew, gross.
I'm hurt. Wounded, truly. Did I go too far?
You went too far when you came here and attacked her.
Pity. And here I thought I was going to offer you the chance to become something better than just a simple incubus.
Diana, I swear. What was Diana going on about? More than just an incubus, she was insane.
How about becoming the next demon lord?
I froze. What does she mean, becoming the next demon lord? The boys weren't in the demon world anymore. They had no claim to the throne anymore. Matthew stared at Diana, which made me worried.
The next demon lord?
Matthew, no.
Well, currently, I'm the contracted bride to the heir to the throne. Since the throne is open, it's available to any son of the demon lord's line. Think about it. You'll gain the throne, the land, and a bride to continue your lineage with. Doesn't that sound like a perfect life for an incubus like you? You'll show your father and mother how grown up you are, that you're not just some little cute boy people can take for granted.
Wow. I could feel myself gripping my fist tightly in anger. How dare this girl try to convince Matthew to return to the demon world? He ran away from it. He didn't have to go back. He shouldn't go back. My mind began to wander, imagining him saying yes. He would leave and the brothers would follow to bring him back. They'd be trapped because Diana would make sure they could never leave. Matthew would be the new demon lord with Diana as his queen, and I'd lose him.
Like I would believe you.
You don't need to believe me, Matthew. You just need to come back home with me. I promise you'll be respected as you were supposed to be.
I'm not falling for it.
Yeah, please don't fall for it, Matthew.
Fall for what? The truth? The truth is that your brothers still treat you like a child, even though the demon world is far behind you. The truth is that your little human love affair is fleeting. She can never see you as a man, just as a little boy who wants to grow up.
Stop it!
I stared as Matthew chuckled a handful of knives at Diana, who ducked and dodged them with ease. They dug themselves into the tile wall before fading away as if they didn't exist.
You dare attack me?
I'm not going back, and that is final!
Oh, good grief. I could see Matthew's muscles tense up and flex, wanting to attack Diana. The girl in question, however, took a deep breath and looked to Matthew with a pleading look.
You won't even return to your mother? She's been crying ever since
you Diana,
left.
Don't pull that BS. Oh, come on. Don't pull that crap.
Do not bring her into this!
Matthew glared as Diana circled the island towards him.
She begged me to bring you back. She wants you to get what you deserve.
Oh,
the
good
throne.
grief.
I don't believe you.
Matthew then walked away from Diana, heading to the fridge to start dinner. As if she wasn't there, Diana stopped and leaned against the counter.
She'll never love you, you know.
Oh, you...
I don't mind. I care for her.
The human girl? You must be joking. A human like her can't possibly provide you what you need. She's
Diana,
a human.
I
You're
swear.
a demon.
I felt the urge to storm in and shut her mouth, and it would give away my position, but I was growing extremely tired of Diana. Barge in and set her straight. I decided to be oh good God, words I can't, and quickly stepped into the room, rushing to be in front of Matthew and Diana, and Matthew looked at me in surprise as I glared daggers at Diana. Get out.
Well, well, little human. You're awfully nosy in business that doesn't concern you.
It does concern me.
Does it? I don't think a human would understand the importance of this affair.
You're asking him to leave to be someone he doesn't want to be. That's not going to happen.
Oh? And what makes you so sure about that?
I love him. Diana stared in shock at my exclamation. Was it not what she expected? I didn't care what she expected. I was going to lose the man I had grown to love.
You love him?
Did you not hear me, Diana? Yes, I love him. Diana's lips twitched, the edges curling into an amused smirk as she stared at me.
So what? A human's love isn't enough to understand the situation. A demon can never reciprocate human feeling.
Or so you think. To both of our surprise, however, Matthew stepped forward and put an arm around me, pulling me close to his body.
I love her.
Matthew! I saw the confidence Diana had shatter in her eyes as she stared at Matthew at his words. I could see the struggle in her face to try and find some weakness in Matthew. In me, anything.
A demon love a human? Impossible.
You heard me. I love her, Diana. I'd do anything for her, and she cares for me more than anyone in the abyssal plane ever had. More than you'll ever know.
Wow.
She makes me feel like the adult I'm supposed to be, and there's nothing you can do to change that. Ever.
Diana took a step back physically, feeling the sting of Matthew's words in her chest. She had lost. I can see it in her eyes. Diana's eyes grew dull as she glared at me, and Matthew, it seemed almost uncharacteristic of her, yet it was something I wasn't surprised to see come from her face.
Very well. Fine. Valet.
And with that, Diana faded into the ground into a purple pentagram, crossing her arms and almost looking upset. Matthew and I were then left alone, left with the silence of the room. I finally let out the air I was unconsciously holding in my chest, relaxing from the ordeal. Matthew stepped to me and held me gently, surprising me.
Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. I nodded in response, unable to speak immediately after being surprised. Matthew let out a sigh, relaxing in the embrace. I gently placed my hands around him, returning the embrace slightly. I can't read words. Oh, God. I could hear Matthew's heartbeat. He held me close in his arms. I felt safe beyond words. Are you okay?
Of course I'm okay. I'm holding you.
I looked up at Matthew, surprised at what he said. Matthew blushed, moving a strand of hair from my face to look down at me.
You mean so much to me. You make me feel like more than just a kid. I've never felt this happy before with anyone, and here you are giving me every reason to love you. I love you so friggin' much.
Oh, my heart. Alright, hang on a sec. Okay. I stared wide-eyed, blushing like a maniac. Was this real? No way. This couldn't be real. Was Matthew confessing to me? Confessing his love for me? Matthew gently caressed my cheek, staring into my eyes with a loving, almost hopeful expression. The warmth of his hand invited me to nuzzle into it, closing my eyes. This wasn't a dream. My heart was pounding hard enough where I was sure Matthew could hear it. Matthew gently leaned in, closing his eyes. He stopped, however, remaining just a mere inch away from my lips. He wanted me to show my feelings for him. He had let himself open for me to kiss him or leave him empty. The power I had was unbelievable. I loved him and wanted to give him exactly what he wanted. I gently leaned in, letting my lips finally touch his gingerly. Matthew let out almost a surprised gasp against my lips before wrapping both of his arms around my waist. Pulling me close to him, I moved my arms up around his neck, feeling the kiss between us deepen to a heated height. My chest was pounding, making me feel and see fireworks in my mind. Matthew was everything I desired. He was the man I wanted, demon or not. It was all supernatural to fall in love with someone so quickly. Maybe it was the sense magic I was thrown into. Maybe it was Cupid playing with my heart. Either way, I found myself melting at the thought of him being with me. I found myself combing my fingers through Matthew's hair, making the man holding me softly tremble at my touch. He gently nibbled at my lower lip. Man, so descriptive, okay. Asking me to deepen the kiss between us even further. I easily teased him before finally opening my mouth slightly for him. His tongue, oh God, so descriptive. His tongue gently danced with mine as one of his hands slid up my back and cradled my head. He gently leaned my body back, making me cling to him as the heat of our kiss rose higher and higher. Gently, though, Matthew slowed the kiss down and pulled away, staring down at me. His eyes burned for me, wanting me to melt and buckle in his arms. I could feel myself melt already. Matthew opened his mouth to speak, but as a very small blush ran along his cheeks, he was reduced to shy silence. I stared as he tried to find the words to say in my eyes. I knew exactly what he wanted. He didn't need energy, though, right? Are you...
No, I just...
I stared wide-eyed, feeling the blush on my cheeks grow. He didn't say anything more, but I knew what words would have followed if he continued. He wanted me. I was stunned. Was I that appealing to him? Was his passion really that deep for me? Matthew gently nuzzled my forehead, losing the blush and finally being able to speak.
If you don't want to, we don't have to. I mean, it's up to you.
I could feel my mind go numb and purr at the idea. A moment with an incubus, he was a demon of sex, the purest form of lust and desire. My world would rock, and I would enjoy every second of it. At the same time, I was indeed inexperienced. Diana wasn't wrong when she claimed me to be innocent. Did I want to give that innocence to him, especially this early? I found myself forgetting the words yes and no. What could I say to him? I knew then what I wanted, but how to say it without breaking the moment? I couldn't believe the two words that came out of my mouth. It made the most sense to tell him yes. I needed him. I wanted him. Those two words must have made something in him finally break. Matthew gently wrapped his arms around me and went back to kissing me passionately. I could feel the energy wheeze about me, making me open one eye to see blue light glowing around us. When the light subsided, I was in my bedroom on my bed with Matthew above me. I stared as Matthew held a look of both lust and love. My heart skipped a beat simply from his gaze on me. This was okay. I wanted to see all of him and give myself to him. I gently guided his head to me, kissing him slowly and bringing him further into the mood. Matthew slid both his hoodie and his shirt off and tossed them to the side before cradling my head in his hands, kissing them deeply. I felt heat rise in my body, making me undo the tie underneath my collar and release the buttons on my own shirt. Quickly, I removed my shirt and vest, making Matthew stop kissing me and stare in slight surprise that I was simply in a bra, but I could feel a blush invade my cheeks. My shy side began to fester in my mind. Did I really want this, to undress before a demon? No, this was the man I loved, and yet I felt my innocence drape over me in almost shame. I needed to fight it. I quickly rolled both of us over to where I was sitting on Matthew's lap, staring down at him. Matthew sat up, looking up at me with one of the most sexy smiles I had ever seen. Matthew pulled me close, knowing I was still shy, and began to kiss my lips over and over. Each kiss was his promise to keep me safe, keep me comfortable, to love me. I kept my arms around Matthew, taking each kiss he gave and giving him my own kisses in return. I didn't know if it was the fact we were both top nude or maybe I just craved his touch, but I didn't want to let him go. However, he held me. However, as he held me, I could slightly feel the shiver of his hands. Was I his first? He wasn't going to tell me. He wanted to enjoy this moment. His shivering hand showed me his emotions perfectly. As he laid me down and knelt over me, Matthew smiled and finally embraced me as we both desired. The pleasure between us would be heavenly and we'd go through it together. I closed my eyes and gave myself to Matthew. My body, my mind, my soul, it all belonged to him as he held me. His body, his mind, his soul, it all belonged to me as I gave into his embrace. His kisses and fingers over my skin would forever engrave themselves into my memory as our passion rose through incredible heights. Our breaths and moans to each other equally sounded and echoed like a blissful chant we never wished to end. We kept moving, loving, feeling every inch of our bodies until we had enough, and I was enveloped in his embrace. Skin to skin, heartbeats matching, we held each other in the glow of the aftermath. I nuzzled my head under Matthew's chin, and he held me close.
I love you.
I love you too. Aww. Just to hear those words come from Matthew's mouth made my heart flutter. To hear me answer made my soul warm in glee. I could feel both of us sink into a peaceful sleep together. It was the best sleep I had had in days, and I was happy. I had love, and I had my happiness. My life was simply perfect. Oh, God. When I opened my eyes, I found myself staring into Matthew's bare chest. I blushed, but looked up to see Matthew still sleeping. His sleeping face made me giggle softly, but the reality of the situation made my heart flutter. I couldn't believe it. I was lying next to a man I had grown to love with all of my heart. His warm embrace made me feel safe, and as the tender moment we just shared replayed in my head, I couldn't help but smile and snuggle into his chest further. Unconsciously, he held me tighter to his body, giving me more of his warmth. I didn't want to move, but then my core suddenly tightened and made me sit up without waking the man next to me. I felt my legs move and bring me to my balcony window, where I opened the glass and stepped out onto the patio, where we see Diana. Oh, great. I stared wide-eyed at Diana, who sat cross-legged on the railing of my balcony with her glowing red eyes stare upon me. I opened my mouth to object, but Diana stopped me.
Before you get all huffy, I didn't come here to take your precious man away. By the way, how was it exactly? Demons are the best lovers, after all.
I glared. What do you want, Diana?
Well, I just wanted to see how you truly feel. You know, without him around to influence you.
What are you talking about?
I'm giving you an opportunity to come clean about these feelings of yours, and to give you your salvation.
What was Diana up to? This was beyond crazy. Nothing she had done made sense. Why was I still alive at this rate? What's keeping you from just killing me and taking them?
You are not worth my time.
Not worth your time? What are you afraid something might happen? All at once, I felt my body being lifted into the air and moved over past the railings, leaving me with nothing but the ground below to threaten me with a collision death.
Oh, trust me, dear. I'm not afraid to kill you. I can drop you right now and leave your body to rot until the morning, when the boys would find you.
Oh, good grief. I wanted to speak, but the thought of her letting go and letting me fall to my death scared my voice into silence. Diana then chuckled and wheeled my body back to the balcony, setting me down gently.
Alas, if I kill you, then the boys would never come with me willingly back to the demon world, and then
I'm
I'd have
actually
to
going
chase
to
them
skip
all around the world.
this because I know that she's asking for me to
That's-
choose over eternal happiness or to stay with Matthew. So, no. I choose no.
Well, if I can... May you never...
Alright. The rest of the story can almost be passed over with Diana gone. My life returned to normal. With school and my friends not remembering what had happened, it was as if magic never even appeared in my world. One thing was for certain, Matthew loved me and I loved him just as much. We had promised our lives to each other and nothing was going to take that away from us, not even time itself. Our love was so powerful it practically overwhelmed me with joy every time I found him holding me close every morning. To think a demon in love with a human like me, it was unthinkable, unbelievable, it was practically impossible. But it was true. The other boys decided to leave of their own accord. They knew that my future would only need Matthew at my side, so they each decided to start their own lives in the human world. Matthew understood perfectly, wishing his brothers the best. Besides, Matthew had proven to be a man by finding someone to care for. His brothers didn't need to worry about him now that he was caring for me. I felt bad as well for being closer to Matthew than the others, but they reassured me that I was okay and that they would remain nearby. Excuse me. But they reassured me that I was okay remaining nearby should I ever need them. I was happy for that. They made me promise, however, that I would love Matthew for as long as we lived. But what of my future? And then James became the CEO of the company, and her father didn't have any choice but to let his own daughter make her own choices, which I'm skipping. And Did I want to help James build a company? Did I want to venture off on my own? That would be her choice. Matthew reassures her that he would support her no matter what choice she would make. Happy, and nothing could shake me down from that happiness. One afternoon, a good couple of years after the boys and I had met, I had my I had a moment to myself, so I wandered my house and took it all that had happened as if it was a dream. But the warm feeling in my heart reminded me that it was all real, the demons, the magic, that the love I had was real. I smiled as I held my hands to my chest, really seeing in the feelings dancing within my soul. And then we're gonna meet Matthew in the kitchen. Matthew must be baking again. I tiptoed over and peeked to the kitchen, wanting to know what he was making.
Almost done.
I watched as Matthew stared to decorate an already wonderful looking cake with blue and white frosting. It looked delicious. I was practically, I can't pronounce that word.
And there. Perfect.
It's so sweet. That looks amazing, Matthew.
What?
He's so adorable. Hi.
I'm not done. I mean...
Aww. Matthew. I walked over and smiled, giving him a kiss before walking around him to the cake. It looks all more scrumptious. What is this for?
Well, I mean, it's for something pretty important.
Aww. I looked at Matthew, raising an eyebrow as he wrapped an arm around my waist. What is it for?
Yes, I'll give you 3 chances.
Or what? What if I don't get it right?
Then the cake is all mine.
What the hell, Matthew? No fair. Alright.
It's totally fair. Now just guess.
Is it your birthday?
Nope. Second guess.
Is it an anniversary?
Anniversary of?
I puffed my cheeks. I couldn't memorize facts and lessons, but dates were bad. It was like asking a girly girl when her boyfriend's frat party was. Oh.
It's the anniversary of when we first met.
Aww. That is so sweet. Matthew smiled at me, making my heart flutter and queeze once again.
I want to celebrate it every year in a different way. Next year will be something extraordinary. For now, though, this cake will do.
Aww. Aww. Matthew gently pulled me to him, hugging me to his chest. I nuzzled into his chest, hearing his gentle heartbeat and memorizing its tempo.
I love you.
I love you too. What? I'm taking one guess that has to do with Simon.
What the?
I looked at the cake to see a very mischievous looking up at Simon. Their little doll thing. I began to laugh as Matthew grew red-faced.
Simon Tabby!
Oh my god, I can't. Cute. To calm Matthew down, however, I stretched up to my toes and kissed him softly on the lips. Matthew stared but kissed back, not wanting to let me go without a kiss of my own. Love you, Matthew. Matthew sighed before smiling at me, finally calm.
I love you too.
Aww. I didn't want to wake up if this was indeed a dream. I felt light as a feather, not wanting to ever let go of the man in my life. There was no words that could describe the emotions within me. I felt joy, happiness, and ecstatic high all at once. Here I was with the man I would be with forever, with a cake I would delight in even in pieces. Aww. Could a demon love a human forever? I knew Matthew would, and that was my happily ever after. Aww. So that is it. We did Matthew's route, and we think we're going to be doing who else's route? Either Eric or Damien. I'll figure that out later, because we're also going to be doing Naomi, Suzu, and Andrew's route. So I'm going to see who I can raid. I will see you guys in my next stream. Bye!